Cold War crisis.
The stakes could not be higher.
A Nazi defector.
There's simply no way to imagine the rocket without him.
The ultimate test of raw genius and pure guts.
2, 1, 0. All engine running.
The explosive story behind the world's most powerful rocket, the Saturn V. I'm Stuart Varney, and this is American Built. The Cold War was a white-knuckle standoff between the world's superpowers. Both sides had harnessed the destructive power of atomic weapons, but America learned its bitter rival might be developing the ability to rain down nukes from space. On October 4th, 1957, the Soviets pulled off a feat that staggered the world.
It was the kind of shock that probably only happens once in a lifetime, and maybe even say once in a century. It was something that absolutely knocked the United States back on its heels and left the entire country reeling in disbelief. Imagine you're an American in 1957, and then you wake up and discover that those godless communists, who we've always assumed were just a bunch of vodka-swilling heathens and peasants, had put into orbit a sphere that was crossing over the United States once every 90 minutes. And the fact that there are nuclear weapons in the world tends to focus the mind. Every single house in America now is under direct threat.
The Americans scrambled to respond with Vanguard, a satellite to rival Sputnik, but it was an embarrassing failure.
All of a sudden, it becomes clear to America that these Russians are doing things that we had not been able to do yet. It completely shattered American arrogance.
The space race was on, and America was stuck in the starting blocks. President Eisenhower sprang to action. He created a new agency, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. The Soviets had dealt a blow, but Eisenhower had an ace up his sleeve, a German rocket scientist named Werner von Braun.
Werner von Braun, before Apollo started, before NASA even existed, was by far the leading expert on rockets in the entire planet Earth.
During the war, the square-jawed von Braun built rockets for the Axis powers, but he was never fond of using them as weapons. His dream was space exploration.
He didn't want to be in the weapons business. Werner von Braun wanted to be in the rocket business. After his first V-2 rocket attack started landing in England, he was quoted as saying that my rocket worked perfectly, it just landed on the wrong planet.
At the end of the war, the CIA ran a covert mission to snap up Hitler's rocket experts before the Soviets got them. Codename Operation Paperclip.
The Soviets got most of the actual boosters, but America got most of the scientists. That gave the Soviets an initial lead, but America had the brain trust.
With the Sputnik beeping overhead, Ike shipped von Braun and his team to a top-secret rocket base in a town few had heard of. Huntsville, Alabama, 1961.
So now you've got these German rocket scientists. Most of them don't even speak any English. They go to the Marshall Space Flight Center in Alabama, in Huntsville. And moving from Bavaria to Alabama is a bit of a cultural shock for these German scientists. Well, let's not forget that these people had been our mortal enemies just 5 or 10 years earlier. But the quality of the engineers and their respect for the people, they had now become American citizens.
I was very fortunate to be part of that German team. They were extremely easy people to work with. They were extremely cooperative. We had high respect for the technical capability of Dr. Werner von Braun.
With the launch of Sputnik, communism seemed to be leaving capitalism behind. Von Braun wanted to make a bold statement fast.
You've got an American system of capitalism and democracy. Across the ocean, there is an antithetical system of communism and authoritarianism. And the reason the space race got as hot as it did was that became the propaganda coup. It became bragging rights.
As von Braun saw it, the ultimate bragging rights and a demonstration of American supremacy over the Soviets would be to go to the moon.
Von Braun's desire had always been for space travel. The only reasonable thing you can do is go put a man on the moon and bring him back alive, and that would prove that you're technologically superior to the Russians.
Werner von Braun was 100% certain that it could be done. It was an engineering problem. It was not a problem that had to do with anything other than getting the engineering right.
Now, the US Army was already using short-range ballistic missiles like the Jupiter and Redstone rockets. But to make the turn from military application to space exploration, von Braun's rocket would need to go much further.
To that point, rockets launched from the United States or from the Soviet Union were reaching altitudes of up to around 300 miles above the Earth. The moon is 240,000 miles away.
Von Braun's first spacecraft design was the Nova. His plan was pretty much to just blast it into space, touch down on the moon, then fly it back to Earth.
The original plan for the moon landing was called direct ascent, but there simply wasn't the power in the rockets to do that. So compromises had to be made. Everything had to be much lighter.
The scaled-down rocket would still be the largest ever built, and the key to its success was a masterstroke of engineering called staging.
The best way to think about staging is simply this. Anything that you've already used, you cut it loose. Because you're going to need all the energy you've got, and there's no way you can do this by carrying this dead weight of tanks and engines that you just don't need anymore.
In 1958, von Braun unveiled his three-stage design for the Saturn rocket. The first stage would propel the fully fueled rocket 38 miles up, then detach and fall into the ocean. The second stage would thrust the rocket into orbit before breaking away and falling back to Earth. Once clear from the Earth's atmosphere, the third stage would push for the moon. Von Braun was confident that his plan would work. All he needed was a green light.
In order to go to the moon, you have to solve more than the engineering problem. You have to solve the political problem. The main obstacle to going to the moon was whether or not we had the will to do it.
In 1961, Huntsville hosted Ike's successor, and the new young president was impressed.
Very early in John F. Kennedy's presidency, he met with Werner von Braun to talk about his rocket programs. Von Braun's confidence really seemed to sell John F. Kennedy on the idea that the United States could send a rocket all the way to the moon.
Kennedy realized that this would be a perfect way to show America at its very best.
The new young president was impressed. Kennedy ratcheted up the pressure with a bold promise.
It will be done before the end of this decade.